Hand-to-hand combat in movies can be just as spectacular as gunfights.
Throughout history, lots of excellent martial artists have appeared on screens.
We decided to remember the best of the best, and today we'll tell you about
Best martial arts film actors. Which actor ordered suites in American hotels and turned down a role in The Matrix? Who broke ties with the mafia thanks to his mother? And who was saved by teaching? Whose sports records are questionable? And who trained FBI agents? We'll tell you about all this and more right now.
May I present to you
real fighters in movies. Billy Blanks and his combats with prayers. American actor and martial arts champion Billy Blanks grew up in a ghetto in a large family with 14 siblings. He was born with a hip joint anomaly that impaired his movement. However, Bruce Lee and the TV series The Green Hornet inspired Billy to take up sports. Since his family couldn't afford paid workouts, he found free classes at a youth center. Eventually, he earned a 7th degree black belt in Taekwondo, became a 7-time world karate champion, and acquired black belts in 5 different martial arts. The U.S. karate team noticed this talented athlete, and he eventually became its captain. In 1975, Blanks became the first to win the Amateur Athletic Union Championship, a title he would win 5 more times, and in 1982, he was inducted into the Black Belt Hall of Fame. In 1986, filmmakers noticed him too, thanks to his work as a bodyguard for Hollywood actress Catherine Bach. Eventually, he was invited to the low-budget action film Low Blow, which was included in a section aptly named Best of the Worst years later. He also appeared in action movies like Tango and Cash, Lionheart, and The Lost Boy Scout, and the thriller Kiss the Girls. Billy played both villains and good guys, often working behind the scenes as a fight choreographer. Moreover, he developed a unique body fitness system called Tai Bo that combined some techniques of Taekwondo, Thai boxing, classic boxing, karate, aerobics, and many other practices. Blanks realized this brought him more cash and left the film industry in the late 90s, devoting himself to this new fitness trend. Luckily, his workout DVDs sold like hotcakes worldwide. Today, Blanks is 68 years old. He is a world-class trainer with his own center where he teaches fitness classes and continues to upgrade his method. He rarely appears in movies, usually playing cameo roles. He also writes books on healthy living. Also, Billy is a Christian and has developed a series of training sessions incorporating prayers and religious rituals. The meme-worthy Chuck Norris.
You're the one people call a lone wolf?
I've been called that, but I have mellowed.
Chuck, whose real name is Carlos Ray Norris Jr., began learning martial arts while serving in the army in South Korea. After 3 years of service, he returned home with a black belt and soon opened a karate school. Despite starting his career quite late, Chuck achieved success in sports, holding the title of professional middleweight karate champion for 7 years. Meanwhile, his school expanded into a network with dozens of clubs. As luck would have it, one of the students was actor Steve McQueen, who helped Norris start a film career. The first major project was the action film The Way of the Dragon with Bruce Lee. Speaking of Bruce in the 1960s, he also trained with Chuck. According to Norris, before meeting him, Lee didn't kick above the waist because he considered such kicks ineffective in real fights. However, Chuck convinced him that movie fights needed such kicks, and within 6 months, Lee mastered all the basic high kicks in martial arts. At least, that's what's written in Norris's book, The Secrets of Inner Strength, My Story. Who knows, maybe it's just a bunch of bull. Chuck enjoyed acting and decided to master it. Undeterred by being the oldest student in his class at 34, he became famous at 54 when he starred in the TV series Walker, Texas Ranger. The actor, known for his skillful roundhouse kicks, also starred in many action films directed by his brother Aaron Norris. Moreover, he became the subject of the Chuck Norris Facts meme. Chuck is so tough, there's no chin under his beard. There's only another fist. Chuck Norris doesn't sleep, he waits. He can divide by 0, enter a black hole and come back, make onions cry, and hammer liquid nails. In fact, all possible world records belong to Chuck Norris, and the Guinness Book of Records simply lists the people who have come closest to them. Now 84 years old, Chuck lives on a ranch, runs a business and charity, and occasionally blesses the movie screens with his presence. For example, in the action film The Expendables 2.
I heard another rumor that you were bitten by a king cobra.
Yeah, I was. But after 5 days of agonizing pain, the cobra died.
Don the Dragon Wilson.
Cemetery. Sin hombre.
Don Wilson was born to an American father and a Japanese mother. As a child, he played football and basketball. He was physically gifted, so when his older brother, who practiced martial arts, offered him a sparring challenge, he accepted it without hesitation. Confident of his victory, Don got what was coming and, humbled by his failure, joined a Goju-Ryu karate club. Then, Wilson got passionate about kickboxing. It was his kickboxing career that earned him the nickname The Dragon. In fact, he used different aliases in professional kickboxing, but only the first one stuck. Despite being an 11-time kickboxing world champion, Wilson always saw it as just a way to prove himself. Movies, on the other hand, were a great way to make money. He debuted on screen in 1989 and has since appeared in dozens of projects, including martial arts films, detective stories, thrillers, sci-fi movies, and even dramas. You could see Wilson in films like Blood Fist, 8 parts, Ring of Fire, 3 parts, Black Belt, Inferno, and many others. At the peak of his career, Don earned $250,000 per film, whereas his record paycheck in kickboxing was $60,000. Initially, such big money went to his head, and he spent it lavishly on expensive clothes and jewelry. However, he later realized that helping his family was more important than that. Over time, his attitude towards movies has also changed. He understood that his screen work brought joy to audiences and started taking acting more seriously. Recently, Don has almost stopped acting, focusing on teaching young athletes. For his sports achievements, he has been immortalized in the European Martial Arts Hall of Fame. Jean-Claude Van Damme, ballet dancer and splits king.
Everybody stay calm, we'll be done soon, and then we'll be on our way.
Jean-Claude Van Damme practiced karate from a young age, was a member of the Belgian national team, and became the European champion. Over his martial arts career in karate and kickboxing, he fought 22 matches, winning 20 and losing only twice by decision. Besides karate, Van Damme also mastered kickboxing, Muay Thai, Kung Fu, and Taekwondo. So he isn't just a dancer with good flexibility, although he did practice ballet, and the splits became his signature move. Another celebrity's nickname is the Muscles from Brussels. In the 1980s, Van Damme was Chuck Norris's sparring partner, who pushed him toward a smaller role in the action film starring Norris, Missing in Action. At that time, the aspiring actor shortened his hard-to-pronounce last name, Van Varenberg. Later, Van Damme became a true genre star after the success of Bloodsport, and the films that followed only solidified his status. His character inspired Johnny Cage in the video game Mortal Kombat, and young people worldwide wanted to be like Van Damme and joined karate classes. In the late 90s, the popularity of action films declined, and so did Van Damme's career. Also, there were rumors about his difficult personality. He even once lost a job due to a brawl with studio management. The actor's renaissance came in the 2010s. By that time, he had tried his hand at directing, producing, and screenwriting. Like many other action stars, he appeared in Stallone's The Expendables franchise. Also, he broke the internet with a Volvo truck commercial showcasing his signature splits. Van Damme used to support Vladimir Putin and Ramzan Kadyrov, but with the start of the full-scale war in Ukraine, he sided with the Ukrainians. Off-screen, the actor isn't bloodthirsty at all. He even has become a vegetarian to avoid eating anything that has eyes. Cynthia Rothrock, the queen of action films.
Especially after that unpleasant stagecoach ride from Prairie Ridge. My backside is still sore.
Cynthia Rothrock is a most formidable action movie fighter of the 90s. She is rightfully called the queen of the genre. She started practicing martial arts at 13, inspired by her friend's parents, and was quite successful. She won world championships in karate and earned 6 black belts in various martial arts, including Tang Soo Do, karate, kung fu, and taekwondo. She also did weapons training. Of course, she was obsessed with Jackie Chan films, mesmerized by his ability to use everyday objects for self-defense, and she would try to replicate his stunts at home. The champion's striking looks attracted media attention, landing her on the cover of relevant magazines. Until the mid-80s, film studios were reluctant to invest in action movies with female leads. However, Rothrock shattered the weaker sex stereotype and built a brilliant film career. She was mostly popular in the East, but also earned great respect in the Western cinema, becoming a standout in a masculine genre. William Grote, editor of the martial arts magazine Black Belt, wrote about the American actress. The ponytail is better than Seagal, the chest is better than Schwarzenegger, the look outshines the eyes of Van Damme and Norris. Moreover, unlike Stallone and Willis, she defeats the villains confidently moving in high heels. Cynthia's cinema debut was the movie Yes Madam, which became a hit in Hong Kong and made Rothrock a true star. In the following years, she appeared in Millionaire's Express, Righting Wrongs, and Tiger Claws. She was also offered a role in Armor of God where she would star with her idol Jackie Chan, but the shooting was canceled due to his injury. By the way, she inspired Sonya Blade, a character in Mortal Kombat. Rothrock now passes on her martial arts skills to students, teaching in studios across Los Angeles and its suburbs. She also owns several gyms and works as a sportscaster for martial arts competitions. She often gets involved to do workshops worldwide and has been inducted into the Black Belt Hall of Fame. Dolph Lundgren, the clever muscle man.
Is that an axe?
No, it's a snow shovel.
That makes sense.
This Swedish actor's life story has surpassed the plot of any of his films. Dolph, originally named Hans, was a frail child, often beaten and bullied by his military dad. Because of this, the teenager started to study martial arts. He tried judo and goju-ryu karate, but in the end, he focused on kyokushin. He was a hard worker and won the Swedish championship in 1977, holding the title for 3 years. He also represented his country in the World Championship in 1979, though he had falsely claimed an extra degree of mastery to get there. Lundgren then became the captain of the Swedish karate team, and in 1980, he won the most significant title of his sports career at the British Open Knockdown Karate Championships. Moreover, he defended his title the following year. Dolph is strong not only physically, but intellectually as well. He studied chemistry at Washington State University and Clemson University, but interrupted his studies for military service in the Swedish Army. He later attended the Royal Institute of Technology in Stockholm and completed a program at the University of Sydney, eventually earning a scholarship to the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT. However, he never made it to MIT despite the opportunity of obtaining a PhD. Shortly before heading to Boston, Lundgren met singer Grace Jones, who hired him as a bodyguard. Their relationship quickly turned into a romance, marking another dramatic turn in the Swedish bodybuilder's life. He moved to New York, where he tried to pursue a modeling career and took acting classes. His girlfriend helped him get his first role, and his breakthrough was playing Soviet boxer Ivan Drago in Rocky IV. Later, Lundgren was frequently cast in action films. Despite critical reviews of his acting, he sought roles beyond the taciturn heroes vanquishing their foes. Such films were not so popular, and it wasn't until the late 2000s that Lundgren's career revived, thanks to the franchises Universal Soldier and The Expendables. One of his latest major projects is the superhero film Aquaman. Mark Dacascos, the hereditary fighter.
I have served. I will be of service.
Mark Dacascos, an American from Hawaii, seemed destined for a sports career. His father and stepmother, whom Mark calls his real mother, were renowned martial arts masters in the United States, so they began teaching him martial arts during childhood. By the age of 7, he already started competing in numerous tournaments and ultimately managed to take part in several hundred of them. For some time, he lived in Germany because his parents were invited to Hamburg to share their martial arts teaching methods. While adapting to life there was challenging, Mark managed to learn both German and French. Naturally, Mark watched Bruce Lee movies and was inspired by them, so he went to Taiwan to study Buddhism. Later, Mark shared he never renounced martial arts, but sometimes he just needed breaks. If we are honest, the break ended due to the lack of money. Mark had to pay for rent, tuition at the Chinese school, and kung fu lessons, leaving him short on cash for food and transportation. Initially, he earned some money by teaching English and German, but soon gave it up and started working with his father. Because of his mixed heritage, Mark had a striking appearance and also possessed natural charisma, great social skills, fluency in 5 languages, and martial arts skills. All of this quickly made him a movie star. Films like Only the Strong, Crying Freeman, and Brotherhood of the Wolf became important milestones in Mark's career. In recent years, he has appeared in TV series more often than in movies, but he didn't miss out on the John Wick franchise, playing a role in the 3rd film. Mark's father, Al Dacascos, founded his own kung fu school, combining multiple martial arts styles. Mark expanded it by incorporating techniques from Brazilian capoeira. Now that Al has retired, Mark continues his legacy. Tony Jaa, master of the art of 8 limbs.
There's only so many times you can kill a man. Christmas. Each time, it gets easier.
Tony Jaa is the Hollywood ambassador of Thai boxing, also referred to as the art of 8 limbs. His real name is Phantom Yiram, and as a child, he was obsessed with Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan movies. Undeterred by the 7-mile walk to the nearest cinema, Tony was agile and a hard worker, dreaming of becoming like his on-screen idols despite his father's prohibitions. Eventually, his father relented, and the talented young man made a transition from a gopher on film sets to a stuntman and double for other Asian cinema stars. The job became popular in 2003 with the release of the action film Ong Bak, Muay Thai Warrior. This movie introduced the audience to Muay Thai and a new action hero. Following this success, Tony received numerous offers, both sequels of his cult projects and new films. At some point, Tony disappeared from the screen for several years because he decided to become a Buddhist monk. However, he didn't stay in the monastery for a long time and soon married his longtime girlfriend. In the mid-2010s, Tony aimed for Hollywood, starring alongside his idol Dolph Lundgren in the action film Skin Trade, and later appearing in the 7th installment of a most popular franchise, Fast and Furious. Actually, he could have joined Hollywood earlier. Jackie Chan had invited him to play in the action comedy Rush Hour 3, but due to the filming of the second part of Ong Bak, Tony had to decline. The Thai film company with which Tony had a long-term contract often obstructed his overseas opportunities, preferring to keep their star at home. Only after the end of this contract, John managed to switch to the international market. This led to successful Hollywood projects like XXX, Return of Xander Cage, and Expendables 4. For Tony, his primary personal achievement is popularizing Thai culture and Muay Thai globally. Jackie Chan, the fearless master.
Kung Fu is for knowledge, defense, not to make war, but create peace.
This Hong Kong fighter, known for his comedy talent, has inspired many people to take up martial arts. Jackie Chan's influence has reached millions of people worldwide, and some of them have even become famous action stars, as we've mentioned in this video. Jackie's childhood was marked by poverty. His parents even considered putting him up for adoption, fearing they wouldn't be able to provide for him. In the end, they kept him and strived to give him a good education. While Jackie wasn't excellent at school, he enjoyed singing, acting, and kung fu. As a teenager, Jackie worked as an extra in movies and even crossed paths with the legendary Bruce Lee. At the time, he was known by the stage name Chang Long, which means becoming the dragon, a reference to Bruce Lee's nickname Lee the Little Dragon. Jackie admired his senior colleague but didn't want to copy him. Instead, he sought his own style. To achieve this, he worked as a stuntman, took on various jobs, and eventually began co-writing scenes with screenwriters. His on-screen character also evolved from villains to comedy heroes. Jackie's early major projects include the 1978 action comedies Snake in the Eagle's Shadow and Drunken Master. These films helped establish his unique style. He decided to take on opponents with a playful and even ridiculous facial expression, earning him the reputation as Hong Kong's most fearless stuntman. Jackie performs almost all his stunts without a stunt double. It has become part of Jackie's signature style. He has sustained multiple injuries on set, including a near-fatal accident while filming Armor of God. That time, he fell from a tree, hit his head on a rock, and suffered a severe skull fracture. As his popularity grew, Jackie got more creative freedom, eventually building a team of stuntmen and producing and writing his own films. Besides his numerous successful film projects, he has often recorded songs for his movies. In China and Hong Kong, he is also known as a pop star. In fact, in Armor of God 3, Jackie is credited as a cinematographer, set designer, composer, lighting technician, and even catering manager. In the mid-90s, Jackie became successful in Hollywood, starring in the films Rumble in the Bronx, Mr. Nice Guy, Rush Hour, Shanghai Noon, The Myth, and many others. In 2016, he received the Academy Honorary Award for his exceptional contribution to world cinema. In recent years, Jackie has been taking on more dramatic roles. He said in an interview he wanted to be seen as an actor who can fight, rather than just a fighter who can act. He aspires to become the Asian Robert De Niro or Dustin Hoffman. A recognized martial arts master, successful filmmaker, singer, philanthropist, and UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador, Jackie has a flourishing public life. However, his personal life is more complicated. He has a difficult relationship with his illegitimate daughter, has admitted to domestic violence, and nearly disowned his son after he was arrested for drug possession. Sometimes his cinema family seems more important to him than his biological one. Bruce Lee, the Legend of the Dragon.
Foreign or not, if it helps you to look after yourself when you're in a fight, then you should learn to use it.
You've already heard Bruce Lee's name several times in this video. Many people were inspired by him, learned from him, and considered him a role model. Bruce Lee is a legendary Hong Kong and American actor, director, and fight scene choreographer who literally revolutionized the way martial arts were portrayed in movies. His life journey began in San Francisco in the year and hour of the dragon, according to the Chinese calendar. In China, Bruce was nicknamed Lei Xiulong, which means Little Dragon. At just 3 months old, Bruce appeared on the big screen in the film Golden Gate Girl, thanks to his father, an actor. Lee often played mischievous bullies or troubled boys, as he was rather frail. Bruce started practicing martial arts during his school years, although he didn't take his training very seriously at first. He also took cha-cha dance lessons and participated in boxing competitions between Hong Kong schools, winning the championship on the first try. However, he soon shifted his focus from boxing to kung fu, which became his great passion. Later, he developed his own kung fu style, Jeet Kune Do. Bruce's private lessons cost around $275 an hour, which was quite expensive at the time. Unfortunately, there are no recordings of Lee's fights in actual tournaments, so assessing his athletic skills is impossible. However, we know that he pushed himself to the limit when he trained, constantly striving for physical perfection and studying various styles and techniques. For many years, the martial arts master kept detailed journals documenting all his exercises. Fragments of these journals were later published, delighting his fans and followers. Bruce also conducted experiments on his body to unlock its potential, even subjecting himself to electric shocks. Amazingly, the legendary Bruce Lee starred in only 5 films: The Big Boss, Fist of Fury, The Way of the Dragon, Enter the Dragon, and The Game of Death. The latter was released posthumously and completed with the help of stand-ins. However, as a fight choreographer, he had a huge impact on the way battles are depicted on screen. Bruce invented many new combinations of strikes and various stunts, including nunchaku moves. His fight with Chuck Norris in the climax of The Way of the Dragon became not only a genre classic, but also a benchmark for other filmmakers for many years. On July 20, 1973, at 32 years old, Bruce suddenly passed away while working on the film The Game of Death. One theory suggests he took a headache pill that caused cerebral edema. Another one suspects the abuse of banned substances and an unhealthy diet. His death is surrounded by many legends and rumors. There are about 30 films about his life and work. Lee's fans still visit his grave in Seattle, and Time magazine included Lee in the top 100 persons of the 20th century, calling him the greatest fighter in the history of American cinema. Moreover, Bruce created the image of the perfect superhero without superpowers, and remains an integral part of global culture.
Jet Li, the next Bruce Lee.
I don't need to know you. You only need to know me.
Beijinger Li Lianji, known to the whole world as Jet Li, began studying martial arts completely by accident. He grew up in poverty because his father, the breadwinner of the family, died early. To avoid causing trouble for his mother, the boy tried to be a diligent child. In school, he was the teacher's favorite and even helped teach PE class. At 8, after finishing first grade, he went to a sports camp with other students where they were randomly sent to different courses. Lianji got the Wushu course, where the boy showcased his talents, so the coach strongly recommended he continue his training. From that moment on, Wushu training became a daily routine for him. In 1972, the boy participated in the national championship and received the title of Best Master, so he was excused from regular school classes. Thus, the 11-year-old practically lived in the gym, working on his skills. Thanks to his hard work, he joined the Chinese national wushu team, won several national championships, and traveled to an international tournament in the US. That trip made a big impression on the young athlete. There, the guys were intimidated by the thoughts of their rooms being bugged and watched. Lee, trying to check for bugs, loudly announced that he wanted chocolate, ice cream, and fruit. Shortly after, all the requested items appeared in the room. But most importantly, the teenager realized that Americans were friendly and didn't look like enemies, so his worldview began to change. Then, Lee returned to China and continued to win wushu tournaments, earning the right to perform in front of foreign delegations and travel abroad. At one of the tournaments, he was noticed by representatives of the film industry who offered to make him a screen star, the next Bruce Lee. The athlete agreed, especially since he had a knee injury hindering his sports career. His very first role in the film Shaolin Temple brought him fame. Following its success, 2 sequels were made, after which Jet Li received his nickname Jet. Since then, Jet Li has regularly starred in successful film series such as Once Upon a Time in China and The Legend of Fong Sai-yu. You might say that in the film Fist of Legend, he actually almost became the next Bruce Lee, as the plot was very similar to Fist of Fury. In 1998, Jet debuted in Hollywood playing the bad guy in the blockbuster Lethal Weapon 4. He was well received overseas, so Lee added more movies to his filmography: Romeo Must Die, Kiss of the Dragon, Hero, Fearless, and others.
In the 2008 film The Forbidden Kingdom, Jet worked with Jackie Chan, and in 2010, he accepted Sylvester Stallone's offer to star in the Expendables action films. Lee was also offered roles in The Matrix and Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, but he turned them down because his wife was pregnant at the time. Jet promised he would stay by her side until the day of birth and kept his word. He has 2 daughters with Hong Kong actress Nina Lee Kai, Jane and Jada, born in 2000 and 2002, respectively. He and Nina got married in 1999, and 10 years before that, Lee had been married to athlete Huyang Chuyan. They both competed in the national wushu team and had 2 daughters, but their marriage lasted only 3 years. In 2004, the media shocked everyone with the news of Jet Li's death in the Maldives during a tsunami. However, later, it turned out that he had merely injured his leg while rescuing his daughters and their nanny from the hotel. After this experience, the actor founded the One Foundation charity in China, helping victims of natural disasters and others in need. This organization stands out for its idea of involving in charity as many people as possible, even with small donations. Their slogan is "One person plus $1 plus 1 month equals one big family." The celebrity enjoys meditation and likes to play badminton and table tennis. Also, he collects rare Tibetan beads. He seldom stars in films, explaining that he is busy with charity projects. However, for several years, he also had problems with his thyroid. Lee says he is ready to die. Being a devout Buddhist, he lives in the present and appreciates every moment. He is now 61 years old, and hopefully he has many more years ahead, inspiring more people to engage in martial arts, charity, and simply becoming the best version of themselves. The scandalous Donnie Yen.
好嘅功夫係唔會分男女老幼，睇人嘅啫。
Like Jet Li, Donnie Yen adopted his Western name when he began his film career, although his parents had named him Jidan. The boy was born in the southern Chinese city of Guangzhou, also known as Canton. He grew up in a musical family and was taught to play the piano. However, when they decided to move to Hong Kong, his mother got interested in martial arts and even tried to open her own school. She made this dream come true only in the USA when the Yen family moved to a suburb of Boston. Thus, thanks to his mother, Yen mastered wushu. He watched kung fu movies to add more techniques to his collection, later practicing them at training sessions. However, in the 1980s, he went astray and became a regular at illegal no-holds-barred fights. There, he met some members of the Chinese mafia who took him under their wing. No one knows where this could have led if Yen's mother had not sent her son to Beijing to keep him out of trouble. In China, the young man joined the national wushu team, and 2 years later in Hong Kong, he met director Yuan Wu-ping. Donnie impressed him and other crew members of the comedy action film Drunken Tai Chi, so he got the leading role. The film was released in 1984. However, Yen did not like the filming process. He was annoyed by the director, who explained almost nothing and yelled if he didn't like something. Nevertheless, the movie marked the start of their long-term collaboration, including the Tiger Cage series. Then, Donnie began working with other directors, and his role in the action film Once Upon a Time in China 2 with Jet Li made him a true Hong Kong star. After that, Yen took part in several TV series, tried his hand at directing, and in 2000 appeared in his first American project, Highlander Endgame. He then starred in the films Blade 2, Hero with Jet Li, and Shanghai Nights. On set, he would always give his all. For example, while working on the action film SPL Chapeau he had to see doctors every 2 days to recover. He has a seamy side too. The actor often quarrels with film crew, does not mince his words, and resists authorities. He even managed to quarrel with the son of Bruce Lee's legendary teacher, Yip Man, while starring in the eponymous franchise. Also, Donnie doesn't mind going to court if he doesn't like what someone says about him. With the money he received from one legal case, he even founded the Yen's Honor Protection Fund to give celebrities the opportunity to defend themselves against defamation. Yen is still actively starring in movies, often in the USA, but mostly he moves between mainland China and Hong Kong. His wife, former beauty queen Sissy Wong, helps him with his affairs. She is 20 years younger, but despite the age difference, they have a lot in common. Both grew up in the West and the East, both in musical families, and both have similar tastes and views. They have 2 children. Also, Donnie has a son from his first marriage. By the way, together with Sissy, they founded another charity organization, an online platform called Go Asia, encouraging people to help local communities. Yen calls himself a Chinese patriot and has been featured in propaganda films of the Communist Party, for which he is criticized in Hong Kong. He says that it is important for him to positively represent his fellow citizens in Hollywood. Also, he called the 2019 to 2020 protests in Hong Kong a riot. Donnie has mastered various martial arts styles, but due to a recurring shoulder injury, he can no longer participate in real fights. As a big fan of mixed martial arts, he would like to compete in the octagon. The American Dream of Michael J. White.
That if they get the notion to with me.
This action movie hero achieved the American dream. He was born in a poor neighborhood in Brooklyn and raised by a single mother. From an early age, the boy witnessed criminal confrontations, but action movies were his solace. At first, he had no money for sports classes, so he trained at home with milk bottles filled with water. Additionally, his friends practiced jiu-jitsu and taught him a few techniques. As he got older, Michael was able to take karate lessons and by the age of 13, earned his first black belt. Over time, he added 7 more belts in different styles to his collection. He received his last belt in 2013. At the age of 14, Michael began living independently, and at 15, he became a father. He got involved in crime and could have continued down that path, but received a sports scholarship and enrolled in a college to become a teacher. At that time, he joined a theater club but mostly participated in martial arts competitions. After graduation, he worked in his field and was even listed among the best teachers. Eventually, acting captivated him, so he started attending auditions. While working at school, he landed his first roles in theater, commercials, obscure films, and TV series. In general, Michael J. White's filmography consists of ambiguous roles in mediocre films and B-action movies, but he has also had some successful parts. For example, he played the lead role in the TV movie Tyson, became the first African-American superhero in Spawn, and appeared in the neo-noir action film The Dark Knight in 2008. He even worked with Tarantino on Kill Bill, but the scene featuring him was cut. Michael not only showcased his martial arts skills on screen, but also trained other actors. He tried his hand at directing, screenwriting, and producing as well, although this wasn't very successful. Thanks to taking part in Asian action movies, the actor speaks a bit of Japanese and Chinese. Michael White is married to actress Jillian Waters, who took the surname White after their wedding. This is his second marriage, but in fact, they have known each other since their youth and dated in the 1990s, but parted ways and remained friends. However, at some point, Michael confessed his romantic feelings to her, thinking he was dying from an allergy to painkillers. They married in 2005 in Thailand, and the ceremony was conducted by another martial arts master, Tony Jaa. The couple has 5 children, but none of them are biological children of both of them. Michael jokes that he always takes some time to remember the number of his offspring. White is a very versatile fighter. In 2015, he was inducted into the International Sports Hall of Fame. He has never participated in professional sports, although he has had conflicts with fighters. For example, mixed martial artist Mike Perry challenged Michael to a fight. Who do you think would win? Scott Adkins, not a butcher.
I am the most complete fighter in the world. My whole life I've trained.
This guy with a daring look and incredible martial arts skills was born and raised in England, in a small town near Birmingham. Several generations of his family worked as butchers, but Scott showed no interest in the family business from a young age. Instead, he was very much into sports. He was an active child and engaged in various activities until his father sent him to a judo club when he was 10. So that's how Adkins began his journey in martial arts. After being robbed on the street at 13 years old, his interest grew even more. As a teenager, he studied several styles and was inspired by his on-screen heroes, Jackie Chan, Bruce Lee, and others. Then, Scott got interested in acting and started attending drama classes, although they were more challenging for him than martial arts. He struggled with shyness but persisted and went to auditions. By the late 90s, he broke into the TV industry and received an invitation from the Hong Kong Stuntman Association to star in the film The Accidental Spy. Then, he was featured in films like Special Forces, Unleashed, and Undisputed 2: Last Man Standing, where Scott played the prison kingpin Yuri Boyka and the main opponent of Michael J. White's character. On screen, White and Adkins portrayed fierce rivals, but off camera, they became good friends. Michael even trained Scott in boxing, one of the few combat sports Adkins had not yet mastered at the time. Despite that he played the main villain, the audience loved him so much that he was invited back for the sequels and became the leading character. Scott also appeared in Doctor Strange and John Wick Chapter 4.
Moreover, he often works as a stuntman for Hollywood stars. His most famous work as a stunt performer was in X-Men Origins Wolverine, where he shared a role with Ryan Reynolds. Every time Deadpool does a flip, it's Adkins. Also, it was he who fought Wolverine and Sabretooth simultaneously. Scott is also a fight choreographer, screenwriter, and film producer. At home, he is a loving husband and father, and a romantic. He proposed to his future wife on a yacht in Istanbul while watching the sunset sea view. He protects his family from paparazzi and still lives in Birmingham. Benny the Jet Urquidez. This American had no option but to get into martial arts since his mother was a wrestler and his father was a boxer. At 5, he started competing at children's boxing and wrestling tournaments, and at 7, he began mastering martial arts. At 14 years old, Benny earned his first black belt, which was quite an unusual achievement for the 1960s. By the way, his brother and sister also got their black belts. At tournaments, he earned a reputation as a spectacular fighter, including international competitions, earning the right to join the American team. When he transitioned to professional sports, he fought under various kickboxing organizations for several years, recording an impressive 58 wins and no losses. This record is officially considered unbeaten, though controversial. Some say there was a fight that Benny did not win. He also took part in professional wrestling and mixed karate and kickboxing tournaments in Japan. At that time, Urquidez even bestowed upon himself the honorary title of sensei, although he never took any tests in Japanese karate. Fans nicknamed him the Jet for his brutal leg kicks. Over time, Benny began to lose more often and compete less until he officially retired at 41. By then, he won 6 world championships and held 9 black belts in different martial arts. Even before his sports career ended, Urquidez started working as a coach and acting in martial arts films. For example, he was featured in Jackie Chan movies, Wheels on Meals, and Dragons Forever. Today, he has dozens of films to his credit where his martial skills are showcased in some way. Benny says he got the most pleasure from movie fights with Sammo Hung, Jackie Chan, and Yuen Biao. As a coach, he trained Patrick Swayze for the film Roadhouse, James Woods for Digstown, and Jean-Claude Van Damme and Kylie Minogue for Street Fighter. John Cusack also took lessons from Urquidez in real life. In fact, Benny is the founder of Ukidokan Karate. In an interview, he admitted that there is room in his heart only for his mother, wife, and daughter. In recent years, he has not taken part in movies but continued training. He remains a sought-after professional in stunts and martial arts. Bodyguard Olivier Gruner. This fighter was born in Paris to a doctor and an engineer. At 11 years old, after watching Bruce Lee movies, he took an interest in martial arts. He was bullied in school, so martial arts were necessary for self-defense. Oliver studied karate, boxing, and kickboxing. At 18, Gruner joined the army, enlisting in the Marine unit. After completing his service, he focused on kickboxing. He trained every day and began to compete professionally. He became the national middleweight champion and later the world champion. At his peak, Olivier decided to leave sports and pursue acting. He creatively approached this. During the Cannes Festival, he plastered posters of himself everywhere and bought several billboards to attract the attention of film producers. His tactic proved successful. Gruner was invited to Los Angeles for screen tests, and in 1989, he landed a leading role in the action film Angel Town. His acting left much to be desired, but his fighting skills were impressive, so his film career continued. Olivier is particularly proud of the cyberpunk film Nemesis. The film features action, drama, and shootouts. To perform all the scenes, Gruner reached peak physical shape, reducing his body fat to 4%. He also appeared in TV series and produced films he starred. Additionally, Olivier enjoyed contributing to the stories for his movies, so he co-wrote several screenplays. However, the Frenchman never relied solely on the film industry and engaged in entrepreneurial activities. For example, he released training videos, created a sportswear brand, worked as a personal trainer, and more. In fact, he also worked as a bodyguard, for instance, for singer Celine Dion. Celebrities sometimes prefer hiring a fellow star who understands how public life works, and Gruner not only has military training, but also his own bodyguard academy. Currently, Olivier lives in the USA and loves spending time outdoors. He enjoys hiking, climbing, skiing, surfing, scuba diving, and more. Being a perfectionist, he really practices everything he does in movies. Since 2015, Gruner has been a volunteer fireman and often volunteers for charity organizations. Self-defense master Jeff Speakman.
Born and raised in Chicago, Jeff began his sports career with gymnastics and diving. In high school, he even set records, but the main thing he gained from those training sessions was discipline. Waiting for the bus at 5:30 a.m. every day develops it pretty well. In college, Jeff began practicing martial arts inspired by TV shows. He earned a black belt in Japanese Goju-ryu karate. After graduation, his master advised Speakman to move to California to continue mastering martial arts. Jeff followed his advice and began attending all possible master classes and auditions. Finally, after several minor roles, Speakman played the lead character in the film The Perfect Weapon. More action films followed, including Street Night, The Expert, Deadly Outbreak, and others. At the same time, Jeff began training others and became a certified defensive tactics instructor for the FBI, State Department, and other agencies. He was also inducted into the Black Belt Hall of Fame, the World Martial Arts Hall of Fame, and the Masters Hall of Fame. In 2013, Speakman was diagnosed with throat cancer, but has since fully recovered. He continues to practice martial arts and develop his self-defense teaching technique, not appearing in films for a long time. His last film was Striking Range in 2006. However, Jeff has the Champions Foundation, a non-profit organization teaching martial arts to underprivileged children in the USA, Bolivia, Mexico, Germany, and other countries. Grand Champion Karen Shephard. Karen Shephard was one of the first American women in the world of martial arts. She was attracted to martial arts by the beauty of the movements, and her gymnastics background helped her achieve success in the new field. She took part in national competitions and even won some. Shephard was the first woman ever to win the U.S. Grand Championship over all male and female participants in 1980. Her victory caught the attention of journalists, landing her in news reports and national TV shows. She handles various weapons perfectly, especially the double broadsword and steel whip chains. Karen is inducted into the Black Belt Hall of Fame and has appeared on the covers of all major martial arts magazines and in hundreds of articles worldwide. Shephard got into the film industry at the invitation of actor and martial artist Tadashi Yamashita. Karen went to Japan to play the lead role in the action movie The Shinobi Ninja, and then moved to Los Angeles to study acting. Next, she appeared in the film Cyborg 2 with Angelina Jolie. By the way, her role was initially written for a male actor, but her agent convinced the producer to give her a chance at the audition. She was also featured in Righting Wrongs with Cynthia Rothrock, America 3000, and the series Hercules: The Legendary Journeys. In the latter, she performed a fight scene that became one of the most striking in the series. The actress was particularly thrilled by the black lenses worn by her character. Karen dreamt of working with Bruce Lee, but didn't get the chance before his untimely death. However, she did meet another idol, Jackie Chan, when she was in Hong Kong. Shephard worked as an editor for a martial arts magazine where she regularly wrote a column on motivation and training. She conducts workshops sharing her knowledge of training, film and stage fighting, and motivation. At the same time, Karen continues to develop her skills participating in martial arts tournaments, charity, and other events. Unsung hero Ilam Choy. The parents of this actor and stuntman came from Korea, but he was born and raised in the US. Since his father was a martial artist, Ilam began practicing Taekwondo as soon as he could walk. However, his training took place in a Korean community church as part of a youth program, which Choi genuinely hated. Influenced by video games, he learned to perform amazing stunts and even conceive new elements with jumps. Among film actors, his idols were Mark Dacascos and Jackie Chan. When he got access to video cameras, Ilam and his friends started making short films that combined comedy and fights. In high school, he continued to engage in the arts and earned a scholarship to the Savannah College of Art and Design. His specialization was video and digital arts. The guy would always include some elements of martial arts and acrobatic stunts in his school assignments. In his final year, he shot a short action film that won a college award. In 1997, right after graduation, Ilam moved to Dallas, where he worked as a visual effects artist. One of his projects even won a medal at the New York Festival. All these years, Choi dreamt of becoming a stuntman, and in the early 2000s, he finally decided to make it come true by moving to Los Angeles. Thanks to his diverse experience in producing, directing, cinematography, visual effects, and editing, he became quite popular in the industry. His first job was performing stunts on the TV series Charmed, and as of today, he has worked on over 90 projects. Some of the most popular are several Pirates of the Caribbean and Transformer films, as well as Avatar and Thor. In The Amazing Spider-Man, Ilam doubled for Andrew Garfield. As an actor with his own minor roles, he has also appeared in the TV movie Walker, Texas Ranger, Trial by Fire, Iron Man 3, and the action movie Undisputed 3: Redemption. In the latter film, Choi portrayed a North Korean fighter. Ilam is not a typical screen fighter. He often remains unrecognized, but this does not diminish his skills. On the contrary, he has grown to work as a stunt coordinator and fight choreographer, for example in Spider-Man: Homecoming. Lady Kung Fu Angela Mao. One of the most outstanding actresses skilled in martial arts, was born in Taiwan under the name Mao Fuqing, the daughter of a Peking opera star. She also began her career as an opera singer, but in the end, her childhood passion for martial arts prevailed. Mao trained in Korean Hapkido and other styles and took ballet lessons from a young age. When she was 17, she was discovered by action film director Huang Feng, who was looking for a young woman skilled in martial arts for the lead role in the film The Angry River. Thanks to her experience on the opera stage and her martial arts skills, Mao quickly became a highly sought-after actress and adopted her Western name Angela. She admitted that she simply made more money in the film industry, and following the Chinese tradition, she needed to support her family. Her filmography includes Lady Whirlwind and Enter the Dragon with Bruce Lee. Mao was often compared to this legendary actor and called his female version. However, Angela did not need to be compared to anyone else. She was a standalone star of her time. Once she shared, "I just played myself. I am strong and I am powerful." And also, "How famous was I? When I was a somebody, Jackie Chan was a nobody." Angela indeed worked with Jackie when he was just starting his own career, and she was already a recognized master. Her career, though not long, was impressive. But after her first marriage fell apart, she tried her luck a second time and decided to focus on her family, so she left the film industry. With her second husband and son, Angela moved to New York, but in China, she had to leave behind a daughter from her first marriage. Her active personality did not allow her to stay at home, and over time, she opened several Chinese restaurants. Many years later, Mao revealed that her fans still recognized her and came to her restaurants just to meet her. However, fame was never as important to her as her family. So now, at 73, Angela happily takes care of her grandchildren. Which of the martial artists from this video impressed you the most? And who should we talk about next? Share in the comments section.